Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Right now at 8 o'clock on Fox 50, a family says their grandfather was shot and killed while laying in bed. This is a live look at the scene in Wayne County. The family shares with us what happened.
And two weather makers coming your way. Windy conditions this afternoon will increase our fire danger once again. And tomorrow's a WRAL weather alert day. We now have an increased threat for severe storms. I'll walk you through it.
Gas leak secured. We're giving you a live look right now at US 401 and 1010 Road as the teams there are trying to make sure that a fix in place for a gas leak stays in place. We're following plenty of stories here on WRAL News at Fox 50. Join us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Chris Levigan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, pretty calm and, very, very quiet today weather-wise. But tomorrow, it's going to be a whole different story. Let's get outside to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio. Elizabeth, a level 3 threat.
That's right. And that means that we are seeing an increased chance of severe storms, mainly wind damage, but isolated tornadoes. A level 3 risk is sort of like turning up the knob on your stove. We have a level 1 through 5 risk, and that's just turning us up from level 2 to level 3. It means they'll be more widespread and potentially more intense. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. In Apex this morning, we're seeing a lot of sunshine, a lot of blue sky, but looking around here, around the patio, I'm really starting to see the clouds filling in, and we will be mostly cloudy later on this afternoon. We're warming up now, 43 degrees, the current temperature, and the winds are calm for now, but later this afternoon, we'll see winds gusting 15 to 20 miles per hour, and that increases our fire risk. We still have a lot of fires burning across North Carolina, and that threat will continue for today. Our temperatures are in the mid-30s to low 40s at this point, heading out the door, and our temperature this afternoon likely to climb into the upper 60s. So it's a nice mild day because our wind will now be coming out of the south. Here's a look at our cold front right now that will bring us those severe storms. The yellow boxes that you see around Dallas and up to the north, that is where we have all those severe thunderstorm warnings and some tornado warnings as well. That's what's headed our direction. Here's a look at Futurecast. Once we get to, say, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, there may be a few showers, but it's that dark red line that we're watching most closely. That'll be moving into the western part of the viewing area around 11:30, through the Triangle area right around noon to 12:30, and then into our eastern counties around 1 to 1:30. That's when we'll have the potential for trees to fall, power outages, and a few isolated tornadoes. So again, damaging wind gusts, tornadoes are going to be our biggest threats. And we do have now that level 3 risk. That just means that our storms for tomorrow will be a little bit more widespread. Coming up, we're going to talk about how much rain we may see. Ken?
Happening now, traffic has definitely picked up on most of our major routes. You can see along the Beltline, the southern loop of the Beltline, as well as the northern loop of the Beltline. And for those coming in from all points south, like Apex, Sanford, you're seeing some congestion building on US 1 as well. There are a couple of things on I-40 I want to bring your attention to. This crash on I-40 westbound in Chapel Hill near Highway 54. You can see the huge backup is causing all the way back to Barbie Road. Keep an eye on that to see how long that's going to affect your morning commute. But right now it's causing quite a mess there. This is another crash on I-40 in the westbound lanes near Airport Boulevard. Not seeing any delays in those westbound lanes. We're just seeing a little bit of congestion building in the eastbound lanes there. This is I-40 and Airport Boulevard. We're not seeing the crash on this particular camera, but you can see traffic is flowing nicely in both directions. Of course, I'll keep an eye on that and let you know what's going on. The other troubled spot was these Highway 64 lanes coming in from Zebulon. We're still seeing a little bit of a slowdown there, but nothing that's going to make you late this morning. Getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Developing in Wayne County this morning, a man was killed because of shots fired into a home, and deputies have been on the scene in Dudley for hours. Let's go ahead and bring in WRAL's Laura Levine. She joins us live from that location. And Laura, you've been there, you've been trying to speak with investigators, but you did actually hear from the family of the victim.
We did earlier this morning, Chris. Right now, we are actually awaiting an update from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. I'm told by a spokesperson that they're going to be sending out some more information very soon on all of this. But behind me, though, you can still see a very active investigation that began just after midnight here this morning. And what's really taking so long for this investigation is not only because, sadly, this is a deadly investigation, but also there's a lot of evidence to process. We've counted about 80 evidence markers here placed blast on the front lawns here. It's dozens of shell casings scattered across here, just to give you an idea of what they're dealing with. Now, when we arrived here at the scene around 5 o'clock this morning, we ran into people who tell us that they were actually inside the home when all of this took place. They tell us that someone opened fire on their home and shooting and killing their grandfather, who was sleeping in the bed. Again, all of this happening on Pecan Road and Southern Drive here in Dudley. Investigators have really been going through their checklist here, going through all of the evidence and making sure that they're getting all the information that they can. They have the mobile command unit here on the scene as well. The big question this morning is what led up to this shooting? How exactly did this take place? Again, the family tells me that someone opened fire on their home. It's unclear if it was a drive-by, if someone was walking on foot, but we're looking at, again, dozens of shell casings here that was spread across this area. So as soon as we get that update from the sheriff's office, we will be sure to share that information with you. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Dudley.
And more breaking news. US 401 is now back open at 1010 Road in Wake County. Crews were able to get a major gas leak under control. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live there this morning. Kelsey, this break caused some major problems in that area for hours last night.
Yes, Michelle, it did. And now the intersection of 1010 Road and 401 is back open. So you can see here that traffic is flowing smoothly and crews are still hard at work this morning, even though they were able to get that gas leak under control last night. So you may have been stuck in this traffic nightmare during rush hour yesterday. Drivers sat through standstill traffic on 401 near Garner when crews first responded to this gas leak. Stores and restaurants in the area were forced to evacuate. Crews shut down power as a safety precaution, leaving more than 2,000 customers in the dark for hours. The gas company says they're working on a temporary fix for the damaged gas line for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated on when they're able to find a permanent replacement. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
President Donald Trump's tariffs on major U.S. trade partners are now in effect. The 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada kicked off just after midnight. An additional 10% tariffs on Chinese imports are also in effect. Both China and Canada moved pretty swiftly to retaliate. China says it will impose additional tariffs of up to 15% on some U.S. goods. Canada vowed tariffs of up to 25%.
So many are now asking the question, what goods will be impacted by the tariffs? We're talking higher prices at the pump and higher prices on things like clothing, computers, and toys, just to name a few. The auto industry will also take a hit, so the price of cars is expected to go up at least a couple $1,000s. According to Commerce Department data, cell phones and computers were among the top imports from China last year, and these tariffs could also raise the price for tequila or Canadian whiskey. Avocados from Mexico, those could go up too. President Trump has declared an economic emergency in order to justify the duties. He claims the sanctions are designed to reduce the flow of undocumented migrants and illicit drugs across the U.S. border.
Today, Raleigh City Council will get an update on a project to expand the convention center. Council members will vote on allocating more than $3 million to get construction started. What you're seeing here on your screen, these are renderings showing what the convention center might look like when it's done. The city is expected to pick a final design soon, and in total, the project is expected to cost nearly $400 million. City Council will meet at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
And tonight at the U.S. Capitol, President Donald Trump will address a joint sessions of Congress for the first time in his second term. He's expected to lay out his legislative goals for the rest of the term. He's also expected to highlight what his administration has accomplished so far. That includes enacting a flurry of tariffs and firing thousands of federal workers. Democratic Senator Alicia Slotkin of Michigan will deliver her party's rebuttal to Trump's speech. And you can watch President Trump's joint address to Congress live on WRAL. NBC News will have special coverage that starts at 9 o'clock tonight. Well, dust in the wind. We'll show you more video from the southwest as the storm system heading our way is reducing visibility to zero.
Plus, no Mardi Gras in NOLA? Say it ain't SOLA. Hear why the celebration may be put on hold in the Big Easy.
Same reason that we're going to see severe storms tomorrow. Look at that line of thunderstorms. Already seeing severe storms and tornadoes along this line. I'll show you the timeline and what we'll expect here.
Well, hey there, North Hills. Hope you had a good evening. Waking up this morning, a little cloud coverage here. Watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. Keep this image in your head, because tomorrow, it's going to look a lot different. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is going to walk you all through that from the WRAL Weather Patio.
I have the newest information for you about tomorrow. Overnight last night, the Storm Prediction Center moved us from a level 2 to a level 3 risk. The risks go 1 to 5, and we often see level 1 risks and occasionally level 2. We rarely see a level 3 risk. And the difference in those is kind of like turning up the heat on your stove. You know, it has a low, and a medium, and a high. It's just like that. It's just one of the levels. It means that we'll have a better chance for more widespread severe storms. They may do a bit more damage. They may last a little bit longer. So increased risk of wind damage is really our biggest new information for you. Here's a look at that line of thunderstorms. Boy, this is a very powerful cold front. You see all those yellow boxes? Those are all the current severe thunderstorm warnings. There are also some small red boxes popping up. Those are the tornado warnings. This is really exactly what this is going to look like when it comes across our area. We'll have multiple severe storms in terms of straight line wind damage with a few isolated tornadoes. Again, wind damage, the main threat. The timeline's going to be late morning into the early afternoon as this comes on through, being our next weather maker. Lots of cloud cover starting to thicken up out here on the patio, and we'll see more of that as we get through today. Tomorrow, we're watching mainly that dark red line. We may see some showers between, say, 9 and 10 o'clock, but it's that dark red line that you can see right there at 11:30 from Roxborough to Durham down toward Fayetteville. By noon to 12:30, it's moving through the triangle, and then from, say, 1 to 1:30, it's in our eastern counties. That's where we're going to see the strong to severe thunderstorms, isolated tornadoes, trees down possibly. Again, this is a look at that timeline. In yellow, it begins between 8 and 10. In orange, it begins between 10 and 12. And then in red, it begins between 12 and 2. So, the window of when you'll likely see the strongest storms will be most likely an hour. It's going to be a fast-moving system. Again, significant wind damage, isolated tornadoes, and we're not expecting any flooding out of this. We take a look at our wind gusts, and we're likely to see gusty winds even outside of these tornadoes. Of the severe weather threat. And I want to send it up to meteorologist Chris Michaels to talk a little bit more about what we're expecting to see tomorrow.
Of 5. It's something that we're used to talking about, but you guys may not know exactly what it means. Really, what it means is it's an increased chance for severe weather. Most commonly, we see that level 1, level 2, and it goes on a scale all the way up to 5. So this means numerous severe weather reports are possible on a day like tomorrow. Last time we had one, according to the National Weather Service, was August 7th of 2023. I went back into our archives, and there were hundreds of reports of wind damage in the Carolinas. There were also several power outages. Part of that had to do with the fact that it was 90 degrees and there was a lot more lightning. But even still, with this time around and the wind potential, Elizabeth, there's going to be the possibility of more power outages during that 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. time frame that you were just talking about.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. This looks like the strongest storms that we'll see so far this year. Of course, March kicks off our severe weather season. This week is Severe Weather Awareness Week. And so here we are with that first potential for some really strong thunderstorms. It's over for, Wednesday afternoon and evening. Thursday, we're cooler at 57. I tell you, talking about cool, it is cold out here this morning. Don't forget to grab your coat as you're headed out the door.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, some incidents on a couple of major routes causing some issues this morning. Let's start with I-40 westbound. This crash near Highway 54. You can see the huge backups it's causing there on Barbie Road. And now on I-885, this crash in the southbound lane causing quite a bit of issues, not just in the southbound lanes, but we're seeing congestion building in both directions there on I-885. So if you're heading into Durham, you're looking at a 10-minute delay, but if you're using I-885 to leave Durham and get to I-40, you're looking at a 26-minute delay. So give yourself some extra time. Maybe use Highway 70 as an alternate route, depending on where you are. The other troubled spot this morning, I-87 there in the Knightdale area. Things happen on Highway 64, 87 coming in from Zebulon. But now the issue is around Smithfield Road If you're in a rush this morning, get off on Smithfield Road, head over to Pool Road, and that will get you around the situation that's happening there on I-87. In terms of the delay times coming into the capital city, you're looking at a 13-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning, just a 7-minute delay if you're coming in from Nightdale, and I showed you that slowdown just a little while ago. Bumper-to-bumper traffic there on I-85 and all the other major routes are delay-free at this hour in Durham.
Jeff Hogan at the WRAL Live Center right now. Fat Tuesday in New Orleans, feeling the pinch of some of the impending weather on the way here. I got a couple different live shots that I want to show you right here. This is Bourbon Street. As you can tell, some folks making their way around there. The road's just a little bit damp right there. I just watched the National Guard there on the lower part of your screen. They just put these barricades in place right there. But you can see wind kicking a little bit and the rain coming. But I want to show you this because this is a huge deal right now today with all the parades that are happening there. This is a live look, although the picture continues to freeze here right now. But city officials made some adjustments to the Mardi Gras celebrations and the plans for the parade today. The marching crews, the truck floats, they will not be permitted because of those watches that are on the way for severe weather coming in. The police chief there says that if those watches turn to warnings, she will clear the streets and end this all. Right now, all the parades have to be finished by 11:30 this morning. They're starting early and ending early already.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Tonight, the Wake County School Board will consider writing a letter in support of Attorney General Jeff Jackson's investigation into Power School. A cybersecurity breach in December exposed more than 300,000 current and former North Carolina teachers' social security numbers. The draft letter says the board also supports any legal action that Jackson might take against the company. Power School has been notifying teachers and families of the breach and offering 2 years of credit monitoring from Experian.
Windy, dry conditions are sparking more fires across the Carolinas. Thousands of acres have burned from our mountains all the way to the South Carolina coast. The fire near Myrtle Beach has grown to more than 2,000 acres, and it's about 30% contained. Sky 5 flew over this fire in Cumberland County yesterday. Investigators say someone cooking might have caused this, them cooking outdoors. The North Carolina Forest Service is reminding people to obey all burn bans. And the agency says people have caused more than 800 fires in the last week. 3,300 acres have burned across North Carolina. For the first time since September, you can drive to Tennessee on I-40. The interstate through the Pigeon River Gorge, it was shut down since Helene washed away entire traffic lanes. One lane is back open in each direction, and lanes are narrower than before, just so you know. Plus, the top speed, just 35 miles per hour.
Drivers in New Mexico suddenly found themselves in the middle of a fast-moving dust storm. Look at this. The storm, called a haboob, caused near zero visibility. Authorities issued an emergency alert and closed parts of 2 interstates and a U.S. highway. There are no reports of any crashes from that storm. Forecasts say more conditions like these are possible in that area today.
Investigators say because a man drove into a crowd in Germany, at least 2 people were killed and 11 others were injured. The 40-year-old driver is in custody, according to investigators. This happened Monday in Mannheim, and police believe this act was intentional. They're searching the man's home and internet history to try to find a motive here. The 2 victims killed were an 83-year-old woman and a 54-year-old man. The crash happened as crowds were gathering for parades marking carnival season.
And at least 3 cases of the measles have been confirmed in New York and Pennsylvania. A child in suburban Philadelphia is confirmed to have contracted measles while traveling overseas with their family. Health officials say the child is too young to have gotten a vaccine. There are also 2 cases in New York that officials say are unrelated.
Another case of bird flu was found in North Carolina, Michelle. A backyard flock of chickens tested positive in Dare County. In January, 2 commercial turkeys tested positive in Sampson and Hyde counties. Last month, a great horned owl tested positive here in Wake County. The animals were destroyed just to prevent further spread, and the virus has affected egg prices across the country.
First Lady Melania Trump is supporting a bill that would protect Americans from deep fake and revenge pornography. Trump held a roundtable discussion on Capitol Hill Monday about the Take It Down Act. It would boost protections for people who have had sexual images of themselves published without consent. That includes images generated by artificial intelligence. The bipartisan bill passed the Senate last month. It is now in the House.
WRAL is helping ensure that everyone has equal access to justice, which is why this Friday, 5 on Your Side will host Lawyers on Call. It's a call-in event anyone can use to talk to a lawyer for free. When phone lines open, you can call the number right here on your screen to hear from an attorney licensed in North Carolina to answer your legal question. Go ahead and get that question ready and call Lawyers on Call this Friday from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m.
This is Read Across America Week, a week to promote reading and literacy. To celebrate, WRAL's Ashley Rowe spent time Monday morning reading to preschoolers at the Goddard School in Cary. She read two of her young daughter's favorite books, Tell the Truth, Dragon, and The Adventures of Beagle. Read Across America Week has been around since 1998.
Well, senior night at Cameron Indoor Stadium brought another big win for Duke, but it was a freshman who led the way. Cooper Flagg scored 28 points to lead the Blue Devils to a 93-60 win over Wake Forest. With that win, Duke clinched at least a share of the ACC regular season title, and their final game of the regular season will be Saturday night in Chapel Hill. That's when they face UNC in the Battle of the Blues.
Just ahead, did the new U.S. tariffs do more harm than good? What President Donald Trump has to say about this. That's coming up next.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. A beautiful start to our Tuesday. A little chilly out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is on the WRAL weather patio to walk us through our day.
Yeah, we're starting off with some cloud cover this morning. Early it was clear, but the clouds are really starting to thicken up ahead of the system that arrives here tomorrow. It's 43 in Durham and Raleigh, 38 in Fayetteville, and you can see cloud cover on the cameras. Right now it is 36 in Roxborough, 38 in Fayetteville, 38 in Garner, 40 in Cary. So we're starting to warm up, but I tell you what, standing out here right now, it feels chilly. The winds pick up this afternoon. We'll see gusts up to 15, 20 miles per hour. So that brings us increased fire danger again for today. You don't want to do any outdoor burning. It'll be a warm afternoon with temperatures climbing into the upper 60s, but the clouds will stick around through the afternoon.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, some incidents on a couple of major roadways causing some issues right now. Let's start with I-40 and westbound lane. This near Highway 54, you can see the huge backups that's causing all the way back to Barbie Road. Also on I-885 in Durham in the southbound lane, quite a bit of backup happening in both directions there. This is what it looks like on a live cam network this morning. You can see those are the lanes going into Durham this morning. I'll have an update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
Thanks, Ken. The intersection of 401 and 1010 Road is now back open after a gas leak disrupted traffic for hours. The gas leak was under control as of 1 o'clock this morning. Crews are working on a temporary fix for the damaged gas line. We are working to find out when they will complete a permanent replacement. And a man is dead after shots were fired into his home in Wayne County. It happened on Pecan Road in Dudley. The victim's family told WRAL News they were in the house when the shooting happened. We are working to learn more from investigators. Coming up next on Today, inside the new school movement to support boys and close the new gender gap.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A family says their grandfather was shot and killed while laying in bed. This is a live look at the scene in Wayne County. The family shares exactly what happened to WRAL's Laura Levine.
And taking a look at our two weather makers for today. Number one, the wind that could increase our fire danger later today. And then, of course, looking ahead to tomorrow, our weather alert day. New this morning, we have an increased threat for severe storms.
Also, gas leak secured as you look live at US 401 and 1010 Road right now. The work crews still need to get done this morning. Thanks for sticking with us here on Fox 50 on your Tuesday morning. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Levingood. So we have a lot of stories we're getting to. Obviously, the situation involving traffic in just a moment. But we've got Elizabeth Gardner that's going to get you started because tomorrow is a WRAL Weather Alert Day.
It is. We'll take a live look at the gardens. And of course, right now, everything is quiet, but we are seeing the cloud cover really thickening up now. That's going to be ahead of the system. It's still way to the west, affecting Texas and Oklahoma right now, but it will be a fast mover. It is 43 degrees right now with calm winds, but our winds pick up this afternoon, and that will increase our fire danger. We have a number of wildfires across North Carolina right now, and these winds will not help that situation at all. Our temperatures right now are starting to climb from the mid-30s into the 40s. It's 36 in Roxborough, 37 in Rocky Mount, and 43 in Durham. But I'll tell you, standing out here in my jacket, it feels chilly. A nice mild afternoon, though. Southerly flow brings the warmth back to us, so temperatures will be about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday with a high of 68. Here's a look at our powerful storm. See all those yellow boxes out ahead of the cold front? The cold front is there in blue. That is a powerful line of thunderstorms that has the potential to create some damage that's similar to a weak tornado. We've also had some tornado warnings as well. Oftentimes, we see these systems moving across the mountains and weakening. That does not look like the case this time. This looks like it's going to be our first real severe weather event of this year. At 10 a.m., some showers in our western counties, but watch that dark red line. That's where the severe storms will be, isolated tornadoes, wind damage, and there at 11:30, Roxborough to Durham down towards Southern Pines, and then between 12 and 12:30 right through the Triangle, and then between 1 and 1:30 in our eastern counties. So that's going to be the timeline for us. Our severe weather potential, again, is going to be in that window between 8 and 2. Straight line wind damage that could knock down trees and power lines is our biggest threat, but an isolated tornado threat as well. And then it's a level 3 risk, and that is bumped up from yesterday. A level 3 risk means more widespread potential for storms that could cause damage.
Happening now, Elizabeth, incidents in a couple of major roadways causing some major issues right now. Let's start on I-40 there near Chapel Hill, near Highway 54. You see this crash in the westbound lanes causing quite a bit of backup all the way to Barbie Road this morning. And then on I-885 in the southbound lanes causing quite a bit of backup, not just in the southbound lanes, but in both directions. You can see right here the southbound lanes just bumper to bumper traffic heading away from Durham this morning. You might want to use Highway 55 or even 70 as an alternate route, depending on where you are, because if you're getting into Durham, you're just looking at 11 minutes. But if you're using I-885 to get to 40 leaving Durham, you're looking at a 27-minute delay. So Highway 55, 70 might be some alternate routes for you. In terms of other major routes in and out of Durham, very little to no delays, which is really good news. As for the capital city, here's what we're looking at in terms of the major routes. Fins and Wake Forest, you're looking at an 11-minute delay. And once you get into Nightdale, you're looking at a 9-minute delay getting into the capital city. You're heading out the door. Tune us in, 101.5 HD3.
Developing in Wayne County, a man is dead after shots were fired into a home, and deputies have been on scene in Dudley for 6 hours or more, I should say. Let's bring in WRAL's Laura Levine as she joins us live from that scene. Laura, you spoke with the family of the person who died. I mean, this must be just so upsetting for them.
A very traumatizing situation, Chris. That family tells us that they were actually inside the home when all of this went down here just after midnight on Pecan Road. You can take a look here at the scene and see that it's still a very active investigation with that crime scene tape wrapped around several homes here, blocking off the area. But family members tell us that someone opened fire at their home with those bullets, shooting and killing their grandfather, who was sleeping in the bed at the time. Of course, again, all of this still underway in terms of the investigation. We're expecting to get an update from the Wayne County Sheriff's Office in the next few minutes. They tell us that we're going to get more information soon, but that's the big question this morning. What exactly happened here overnight? What led up to the shooting? It's unclear if this was a drive-by situation. These investigators here, they have been collecting a lot of evidence, and we counted more than 80 evidence markers here at the scene. So that's why it's been taking quite some time. They had to process a lot of the evidence that they collected here overnight. So, of course, once we get that update from the Sheriff's Office, we will be sure to update you. There has been no information shared thus far on a suspect or any arrests in this case. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Wayne County.
And more breaking news. Around 1 o'clock this morning, crews were able to get a major gas leak in southern Wake County under control. US 401 is now back open at 1010 Road. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live there for us this morning. Kelsey, this break caused some major problems in that area for hours last night. Glad to see it's back open.
Yes, Michelle, a lot of people are also glad to see that this is back open, but crews are still working this morning on doing a temporary fix for now. but they were able to get that gas leak under control. You may have been stuck in this traffic nightmare during rush hour yesterday. Drivers sat through standstill traffic on 401 near Garner when crews first responded to that gas leak. Stores and restaurants in the area were forced to evacuate. Crews shut down power as a safety precaution, leaving more than 2,000 customers in the dark for hours. The gas company says they're working on this temporary fix for the damaged gas line for right now, but we'll be sure to keep you updated on when they're able to have a permanent replacement. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
And today, state lawmakers will debate a bill taking former Governor Roy Cooper to task over his disaster recovery efforts. This is a live look at the legislative building. Under Cooper, the state took years to rebuild homes after Hurricanes Florence and Matthew. In fact, about 1,000 families are still waiting for help after those storms hit nearly a decade ago. Today, the state house will debate a bill called the Cooper Accountability Act to audit past relief efforts. The bill will also give Governor Josh Stein everything his administration says is needed to finish the Florence and Matthew rebuilds.
Tonight at the U.S. Capitol, President Donald Trump will address a joint session of Congress for the first time in his second term. As Alice Barr explains, this will happen as new U.S. tariffs on imported goods are in effect.
This morning, trade tensions ramping up with China announcing retaliatory tariffs on some U.S. food imports. Canada vowing similar steps in response to new U.S. tariffs that took effect overnight, including a blanket 25% tariff on all imported goods from Canada and Mexico and an additional 10% on Chinese imports.
What they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs.
American companies now bracing to eat added costs or pass them along to consumers. This Michigan auto parts producer imports 30% of its materials from Canada.
It means dramatically increased costs that we might not be able to recover.
At the same time, President Trump pausing military aid to Ukraine, according to two U.S. officials. After a public clash, the president asked what it would take to restart negotiations with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky toward a peace deal with Russia.
I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin.
Democrats urging swift action.
Without our assistance, this gets very, very hard for the Ukrainians. And by the way, it gets easy for Russia. This is what Russia wants.
Democratic lawmakers also inviting fired federal workers to President Trump's address to Congress tonight. Erin Rehill lost her job with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency after her boss assured her she was safe.
We have justified why you're vital to the organization.
She wants to put a face to the nation's federal workforce.
When you work for this country, you feel a pride in the work that you do.
As President Trump prepares to defend his vision for the country.
That was Alice Barr reporting. Vice President J.D. Vance said that in a new interview, President Trump will focus on successes in his first weeks in office. There are also key challenges to address, including rising inflation and a government shutdown deadline looming next week. You can watch President Trump's joint address to Congress live on WRAL. NBC News will have special coverage that starts tonight at 9 o'clock.
Is your driver's license a real ID? We'll share what to look for to avoid any sort of challenges when you're trying to fly.
Plus, colorectal cancer awareness, how a new scoring system could help identify young adults who may be at risk for this type of cancer.
And weather whiplash as we look live at Rocky Mount Mills from the WRAL Live Cam Network. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner explains what we can expect from potential severe thunderstorms heading our way. Welcome back as we take a live look over downtown Cary Park. We are chilly this morning. Some blue skies, though. It's pretty nice out there, but you do need the jacket. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio in her jacket. We're also talking about tomorrow, Elizabeth.
Check out this front as it's crossing the country right now, moving out of Texas over toward parts of Arkansas and moving toward Louisiana. As a matter of fact, Mardi Gras has really had to change its schedule because of this potential for severe weather. You can see all those yellow boxes. That's where the severe thunderstorms are. As this moves across our area, we could see a line of storms that produces wind damage, knocks down trees, creates power outages. This is going to be a really powerful, impactful system that comes through our area. We take a look at what's happening there as we check out Futurecast. And you can see, of course, a lot of cloud cover. Those clouds are going to be with us for the rest of the day today. We start with some showers in the morning as early as 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. But watch that dark line. That's where the strong storms come in. Moving through, say, Roxborough, Durham into Raleigh around 11:30 to 12, between 12 and 12:30, right through the middle of the viewing area. And then our eastern counties between, say, 1 and 1:30. It's going to be a fast mover, but it's going to have a lot of power behind it. Isolated tornadoes are possible. And the window of opportunity, again, for the severe storms is going to be around between, say, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Of course, we have a level 3 risk for severe storms, and these are all ranked from level 1 to 5. We see a lot of level 1 storms and a few level 2. We rarely see level 3. What does this mean for us? It just means that these storms are likely to be more widespread, more frequent, and a little bit stronger. One of the things that we could see with these storms is power outages, and meteorologist Chris Michael is here to talk a little bit about that. Okay, so we're looking at the timeline of this. Again, early in the morning, there may be a few scattered showers, and then that strong line of thunderstorms comes through as early as 8 or 9 and as late as around 2 p.m., moving from west to east. Once that moves on by, there's a small chance that we would have some more storms developing during the evening with the potential for some hail. It's cloudy out here this morning, and it's chilly too. It's 43 degrees, but without a lot of sunshine, it feels chilly here. Our temperatures ranging from, say, 38 in Fayetteville and 37 in Roxborough to 43 in Durham and 48 degrees in Clinton. Temperatures across the area are mostly in the low 40s right now. 42 in Cary, it's 40 in Garner, and 40 degrees in Knightdale. Around town, it should be a pretty nice feeling afternoon. Our winds will shift to southerly, and it'll be 68 in Raleigh, 67 Durham, and 71 in Fayetteville. Checking that 7-day forecast, temperatures tomorrow morning will be much warmer. We're talking about 50s. We'll have a lot of energy in the atmosphere with these warm temperatures up to 70 degrees on Wednesday. And then behind the front, Thursday and Friday, temperatures are cooler, much closer to normal. And then, of course, don't forget, we go back to daylight time over the weekend. We lose an hour of sleep, but we have more daylight at the end of the day.
The head of the FBI's largest field office says he was forced to retire. James Dennehy was the assistant director in charge of the FBI New York division. In an email to his colleagues yesterday, he wrote he was informed last week to submit his retirement papers, which he did. He says he wasn't given a reason, though. Last month, he promised to, quote, dig in after Trump administrations had some actions there, and that includes removing senior FBI leaders and requesting the names of all agents who worked on January 6th cases. The CEO of Kroger has abruptly resigned after an investigation into his personal conduct. Rodney McMullen resigned yesterday, and he was Kroger's CEO for more than 10 years. In a statement, Kroger said McMullen's behavior was inconsistent with the company's ethical policies. No further details were given, though. A longtime member of the board director is now serving as Kroger's interim CEO.
If you have a flight scheduled after May 7th, you need to make sure you have a real ID. The TSA says people who do not have a real ID or passport for flights starting May 7th will face significant delays at checkpoints. About 78% of people who fly nationwide already have real IDs. To get one, you'll need to go to the DMV and provide documents that include your full legal name, date of birth, social security number, and 2 proofs of address. If you aren't sure whether you already have a real ID, check for this star in the upper right-hand corner. Well, covering Franklin County, the town of Bunn is getting a new EMS station. It's located on NC 39. A groundbreaking for the station is happening at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. It's one of the leading causes of cancer deaths here in the United States for both men and women. And reports show more young adults are being diagnosed with it. Dr. Carol Macaron with the Cleveland Clinic says that's why she and her team developed a new scoring system. Currently, these aren't recommended until at least age 45. But the new scoring system works by going over a list of risk factors with a patient. Based on the score, their physician would order additional screenings. Dr. Macaron explains a possible reason why more cases are showing in younger people.
So among the factors that have been reported, the one that are consistently been found to be associated with early onset colorectal cancer is smoking history, family history of colon cancer, and body mass index, or like being overweight or obese.
Symptoms include blood in your stool, vomiting, and unexplained weight loss, among other things. But if caught early, it can be cured.
Wedding season is right around the corner, and whether you are planning your big day or attending as a guest, weddings can be very expensive. Jen Sullivan has advice for couples and their guests to help stay within budget.
Your wedding is likely the happiest day of your life. Months of planning, all to say I do to your life partner. But what you don't want is your big day to break your bank.
So many couples decide like, oh, we're going to spend this much, and then they start researching wedding costs.
Lauren Kay with wedding planning website The Knot says the national average of a wedding last year was $33,000.
That's typically encompassing the cost of the venue or the ceremony and reception.
Between the venue, food, vendors, attire, and other things, the bill can add up quickly. Kay says couples should first set a budget. Most couples will spend the most on their wedding venue and food, with couples spending an average of $284 per guest.
If you're willing to trim your guest list a bit, you can offer those guests who do make the cut a really memorable experience.
Other ways couples can save is getting married during off-season months like January or February.
Don't be afraid to embrace a Friday or a Monday wedding and make a weekend out of it.
Kay also suggests bringing down the flower cost by repurposing your ceremony flowers and reusing them on tables at the venue. So what if you're a wedding guest? Last year, the average guest spent $610 to attend a wedding, according to The Knot.
You can always go in on a gift and use that as an opportunity to get something really fantastic, but for less money.
Kay also suggests re-wearing outfits and freshening up your look with a different jacket and new accessories.
That was Jen Sullivan reporting. Yes, weddings are very expensive, I can attest.
Look, if you want to get married down at the park, I ain't gonna be mad at you. Save your dollars. Weddings can be a scam, I'm just saying. So one of Raleigh's oldest public golf courses will get a makeover. McConnell Golf reached an agreement with the Raleigh Golf Association Board of Directors to extend its agreement. In return, the company will invest $3.5 million into renovating the course. Plans include a new state-of-the-art driving range and bays and lighting for year-round play. RGA was originally designed in 1929 and was last made over in 1998. Duke legend Grant Hill will speak at Duke's commencement this year. The 1994 Hall of Fame inductee will address grads at this year's May 11th ceremony. Hill graduated from Duke in 1994 with a double major in history and political science. He also played in the NBA before retiring from basketball.
Serena Williams is going from the tennis court to the basketball court. The legendary tennis star is now a team owner in the WNBA. Williams will be part of the Toronto Tempo, an expansion franchise scheduled to debut in 2026. Her role will include merchandise collaborations and jersey designs. The WNBA will expand to 13 teams this season. League Commissioner Kathy Engelbert says that she would like to have 16 teams before the end of the decade. And don't forget, the road to the Stanley Cup playoffs is coming right to your living room live on WRAL. Watch the Canes battle it out against the Boston Bruins, who are fighting for a playoff spot in the East. You can watch the game Thursday at 7 p.m. on WRAL.
Dolly Parton's husband of 60 years died. She posted about the loss of Carl Dean last night, saying in part, "Carl and I spent many wonderful years together. Words do not do justice to the love we shared for more than 60 years. Thank you for prayers and sympathy." Parton met Dean outside a laundromat the day she moved to Nashville at age 18, and they married 2 years later. Dean was 82.
So sad. All right, well, hatched. California's Big Bear Valley Eagles, Jackie and Shadow, have welcomed a new eaglet. This is a live look right now. The live camera captured one of the couple's 3 eggs hatching overnight. She was just sleeping, but now she's awake. She's looking around.
This is part of that reality TV series, Lovebirds, apparently. Tens of thousands of people around the world watching right now, including us. Very meta. Hatching can be a long process, taking a day or more for the chick to fully emerge from the shell once a crack is first seen. And again, these cameras, not even just this, I've seen cameras watching like different sanctuaries for animals and stuff. We are naturally curious creatures. Hello, little eagles. We know we're creeping on you, but you're cute.
Eaglets are so adorable. She's keeping them warm right now, but they are so cute. I love it.
All right, your time right now is 8:53. Before we go to break, we do want to give you your winning NC Education Lottery numbers, and we'll be back with a check on weather and traffic in just a couple of seconds. You're watching WRAL News on Fox 50.